If your blog posts are getting a little burst of attention and then completely falling off a cliff, well, the problem might be the type of content that you're creating and not your actual writing, because not every blog post is built to keep working. And that's something that I really wish I understood sooner in my own blogging journey. Some posts are timely and some are personal, but evergreen blog posts are the ones that can keep bringing traffic in for months or even years after you publish them. And if you're trying to build a blog that can grow and eventually make money, then evergreen content needs to be a core part of your strategy. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the evergreen blogging strategy that I wish I knew as a beginner, and how to start creating blog posts that have a strong chance to get found, get read, and keep working for your blog long term. Hi, I'm Ashley from The Minute Fox, and I help creative women use blogging, SEO, Pinterest, and content marketing to build online businesses around what they love. And when I first started blogging, I made the classic beginner mistake. I wrote whatever I felt inspired to write, which that sounds really artsy, but it also left me with blogging posts that had no real strategy, no clear search purpose, and basically no traffic. Oh, and also no money. So let's talk about what I do differently now. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so number one is to start with a real searchable problem. So the first part of an evergreen blogging strategy is choosing topics based on what your reader is actually searching for. So not just what sounds fun or what you feel inspired to write or what you think people would like. You need to start with a real problem that people are looking for. So evergreen blog posts usually answer a timeless question. So things like workout routines for a beginner, or how do I keep my house organized, or how do I store my watercolors, how to prepare for my first craft show, how do I make a content calendar. These aren't just 1 week trends. They're long-term problems that people are kind of always going to be looking for answers for. And that's what makes them powerful, because a good evergreen topic usually has three things. One, it solves a specific problem. Two, it connects to your niche. And three, people will still care about it 6 months from now. So before you write a blog post, ask yourself the literal question, will my ideal reader still need this answer 6 months from now? And if the answer is yes, then you might have an evergreen blog post topic on your hands. Okay, so moving on to number two is to match the search intent before you write. So the next thing is search intent. So search intent is basically the reason behind the search. So when someone types something into Google, they're not just typing random words, they want something. So they might be looking for a straight answer, a tutorial, a comparison between two products, a product recommendation, or a solution because they're overwhelmed and one minor inconvenience away from a complete nuclear meltdown, which honestly, same. So before you write, Google your keyword or the topic that you're thinking about and look at what's already ranking in search page. So you want to look at the top results and you want to ask yourself things like, are these blog posts step-by-step guide? Are they list posts? Are they beginner-oriented tutorials? Are they product reviews? Are they comparison posts between products? Or are they really, really short answers? So that tells you what kind of content that Google already sees as the right answer to that question. So if the search results are full of beginner guides and you write a personal opinion piece, then your post might be great, but it's probably not going to match what people are looking for that keyword. So it's not going to end up ranking well. So this is where I want to mention my free evergreen blog post checklist, because this is exactly the kind of thing that's easy to forget when you're in writing mode. So the checklist walks you through what to check before you write, things like search intent, while you write, before you post, and after you post, so that you're not just throwing a blog post online and hoping it does well. If you want the exact checklist that I use before publishing my blog post, then you can grab my free evergreen blog post checklist from the link in the description below. Okay, so back to the strategy. Basically, search intent is important because more than just keywords. It's about giving the reader the kind of answer that they're looking for, as well as the actual answer itself. Okay, way number three is to build your posts inside topic clusters. So the third part of an evergreen blogging strategy is to write posts that connect to each other. So this is where topic clusters come in. So a topic cluster is a group of related blog posts around one main topic. So instead of if I wrote one post about Pinterest and then one random post about email and then one post about using Canva for social media graphics, you create a focused group of posts around a specific subject. So for example, if my blog, say, like helps beginner bloggers, then I might have a specific topic cluster just around Pinterest. So that topic could include blog posts titled things like Pinterest strategy for beginners, or Pinterest keywords, Pinterest board setup, Pinterest pin design tips, Pinterest mistakes that beginners make. How often should you pin on Pinterest? So as you see, each post in this topic cluster answers one specific question. So together, they tell both Google and your readers that, like, oh, this blog actually covers this topic like in depth. And that's how you start building topical authority. So honestly, this is one of the biggest changes that I wish I made sooner when I was a beginner blogger myself, because one random post could help, like it could bring you some traffic, but a connected system of posts will perform a lot better for you, because each one of them is doing well on an individual level, and they're also collectively showing that your blog has authority in a certain topic. Okay, number 4 is to write the post to fully answer the question. Okay, so once you have your topic and search intent, the next step is to write a post that fully answers the question. Like, this doesn't mean you have to write like 5,000 words. Thorough just means helpful. Maybe it does take 5,000 words. It depends how complicated your topic is. Basically, you want your reader to think after they're done reading your blog post, you want them to think, okay, I know what to do next. Because a strong evergreen blog post usually includes a clear intro that tells the reader what they're going to learn by reading the post, organized headings, short paragraphs, examples, steps, or a framework of like how to do the thing, common mistakes that people will make, the next steps for your reader to take, and some internal links to related posts if your reader wants to go more in depth on other related things. So the goal here is to be like super, super useful, because a lot of beginner bloggers accidentally write posts that will only explain what something is. But the best evergreen posts explain what something is, but then they also explain why that's important to the reader, how to do it, what to avoid doing, what to do next, and what to try if it doesn't work. So that's what makes the post feel complete, because you don't want someone to come to your blog post, read it, and then go back to Google and pick a different blog post and continue reading, because that signals to Google that your blog post did not give them the answer that they wanted. You want them to come to your blog post, read it, and then either stay on your blog longer and look at other things, which is like amazing, perfect, like number one answer, or they don't go back to Google. They just end their session because they found the answer that they wanted. You definitely don't want them to go back to Google and like pick the next blog post after you and start reading that, because that signals that your content didn't help them. We don't want that. Okay, way number 5 is to optimize without like making it weird or awkward. So next you want to optimize your blog post. This is like the whole like SEO optimization thing comes in, but that doesn't mean stuffing your keyword everywhere. So optimization just means making the post clear for both humans and search engines to understand. So a few simple things that matter the most are using your main keyword in the title, the intro, at least one heading, if it can fit naturally in there, the meta description, and the URL to the post itself, if you can. Then you can use related phrases kind of like naturally throughout the post. You want to also include things like internal links, which means links to other blog posts that you've already published. Include a clear call to action at the end of your post of whatever it is you want them to do. It could be downloading a freebie. It could be buying a product. It could be leaving a comment. Like, what do you want them to do after they have read your post? You also want to use descriptive image alt text. Make sure your post is easy to skim, so it's structured well, and write a very clickable meta description. So this is the part where a repeatable checklist really helps a lot, because SEO has a lot of these tiny little moving pieces, and none of them are really hard on their own to do, but they're easy to skip or forget about when you're writing, or you're like distracted, or like in my case, you're just trying to get your blog post scheduled before your kids come home from school. So do future you a favor and create a repeatable system. And again, my checklist can definitely help you with that. It's in the link below. Way number 6 is to promote each evergreen post like an asset. Okay, so here's another thing that I wish I knew earlier, was that when you publish your blog post, like that's not the end of your work. That's actually like the beginning. So if you want an evergreen post to keep working, you need to promote it. So for bloggers, one of the best ways to do this is through Pinterest, because Pinterest is also search based, and one blog post can turn into multiple fresh pins over time. And my dog is making really weird noises laying on her bed here. So sorry if you hear something. So instead of making one pin and like calling it done, think of one evergreen post as an asset that you can keep creating different entry points for. So for example, let's say you have a post that's about website design tips for small businesses. So you could pin different angles. So one pin could have a title that says website design tips for small business owners. And another pin could be titled why your website isn't converting visitors into clients. And another pin could be simple website checklist for service providers. And another one could be website mistakes new beginner owners make. And finally, how to make your website look more professional. But like all these pins, they link to that same blog post. They're not linking to different content. So your one piece of content has multiple pin entry points to that content from different emotional angles. So you can also promote your evergreen blog posts through things like your email list, Instagram stories, and even carousels if you want, or on threads, or on Facebook posts, like whatever other like social media you're involved with, you can obviously promote your blog posts on there. So the point is basically don't just let your blog posts sit after you publish them. You want to keep giving people ways to find them. Okay, finally, way number 7 is to update your best posts over time. So remember what I said when you publish a blog post, especially an evergreen blog post, that's not the end, that's just the beginning. This also relates to this point in that the final piece of an evergreen blogging strategy is to update your content. So evergreen doesn't just mean publish once and like never touch it again. It just means that the topic stays relevant. So your post might still need update over time as things change, information changes, you might need to update it, but the core topic of your post is always relevant. So every few months, go into your analytics, look at your best posts, and then ask yourself things like, is the information still accurate? Can I make my intro stronger? Can I add better examples? Can I add internal links to newer posts that I've published now that didn't exist before? Can I improve the meta description? Can I create more Pinterest pins for this? The answer to that is usually yes. And is there a better call to action that I should add? Maybe now you have like a freebie that directly relates to this post that you didn't have before. So change your CTA at the end of the post to sign up for that freebie instead of whatever your CTA was before. So this is where blogging starts to have like the snowball kind of effect, that it kind of grows and builds momentum over time. It's because you're not constantly starting from zero. You're building a library of content that gets stronger over time. And that is the real power of evergreen blogging. Okay, so we're going to recap because I'm like losing my voice. Okay, so if you want to create blog posts that keep working for you, here's the evergreen blog strategy that I wish I knew as a beginner. 1, start with a real searchable problem. 2, match the search intent before you write. 3, build posts inside topic clusters. 4, fully answer the reader's question. 5, optimize the post without making it weird. 6, promote each post like an asset. And 7, update your best posts over time. This is how your blog starts becoming more than a place where you publish content. It becomes a system. And if you want help to make sure every post has the right pieces in place, you can grab my free Evergreen blog post checklist from the link below. And if this video helps you, please subscribe because I share practical blogging, SEO, Pinterest, and content marketing tips for women who want to build online business doing what they love. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.